Now, rich logic. This is a very interesting concept. Now, before it was pretty straightforward, right? Right now it's going to get a little complex. Test automation efficiency achieved by developing test architecture as a test module per business process. Login, create order, book itinerary, right? Each test module has to include all business rules of application under test functional area. Login, multiple user group, traveler, agent, admin, and so forth. We all agree with that, right? We have many business rules, many different aspects of the one functionality. Now, this is where the difference between manual testing and test automation makes significance. When we design manual testing, there is no concept of rich logic or parameterization. If I have to design manual test cases for login, which has multiple user groups, I will most likely create 3 test cases, right? One test case will be for user, another one for admin, and the third one will be for agent, right? Because that replicates end user action. Now, that multiplies our effort 3 times. It's a ROI degrade 300%. Make sense? So, our goal, if you remember, I mentioned it a few times already, our goal to consolidate all into a single artifact. We want to be artifact greedy. How would we achieve modularity and being encapsulated as a single artifact? All the business rules. Through rich logic. Rich logic is a technique to encapsulate business logic of the application through conditional statements, right? So in order for me to encapsulate all the logic of different groups or otherwise, I have to use conditional statement within my script. The conditional statement may be if-else. For example, its execute block of the code that specify condition is true. If the condition is false, then another block of code can be executed. You're familiar with this concept, right?
Yeah.
If statement? So always use if statements in your script. You must. Otherwise, you're going to end up with multiple artifacts, which you don't want to do. It's a waste of time, waste of budget. This is how you're going to overload your overall testing process. At the end of the day, it's going to blow back at your management because it's going to become very lengthy and very costly. So, at the very beginning, put all the logic in the singular artifact as much as possible. If-else statement in ZAPTEST can be implemented through the step view or the script view. We support both. And this is how it may look like. It's maybe very nested, depends on the business logic. Building the rich logic script gonna take time. Usually designing the automation based on all the fundamentals, what we're covering today, takes at least 150% more than you would have done it any otherwise. But it's worth it because it saves tremendously, about 1,000% on the maintenance. And you want to explain it to your management, you want to explain and dedicate your time, doing it right way, because at the end of the day, you're going to save the budget. Let's do the exercise. Define conditional statement. Corporate portal accepts 3 user groups: tester, developer, and manager. Error message should be prompted on their own user login. And you name paper. Let's take a few minutes. All right, you have a pen. Just write conditional statement that can implement this logic as an exercise. So what did we get? Vital, what do you got?
So my statement is if a user logs in as a tester, developer, or manager, he will successfully log in, else user should receive an error message.
But syntax-wise, how would you implement it?
What
That's
do you mean?
algorithmic approach. You as a mathematician, you provide the
Yeah,
algorithm.
so yeah, it's all algorithm for me.
All right.
What do you mean? Like,
So how would you build it in the if-else? Are you familiar with if-else syntax?
yes.
Right. Anybody wrote it in the if-else syntax-wise? Okay. How did you do it?
If user role equals tester,
Okay.
or user role equals developer, or user role equals manager. And then I have another if statement, if that returns true. If user login does not equal password, then log error.
All right. Yeah, that's another way to do it. Yes, please.
So if you just say if tester, else if developer, else if manager, else error message.
So this is basically how it would look like, let's say, Visual Basic, right?
Yeah, then that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty straightforward, very easy to implement, kind of. There are different ways, like a case statement, that's different programming languages support differently. Yeah, but that's a very simple approach. If you're not experienced scripters, simply keep if-else statement in mind, but try to use it all the time. Because rich logic, this is something that's going to help you to make it very lightweight architecture. Okay, let's see how we did. Modularity. So one test module per one functional area, right? Event driving. Each step should trigger validation, right? Remember that? What is the data driving? Parameterization, right? What we parameterizing? Input and output values, primarily input values, right? If we look at the screen, what would be the candidate for parameterization?
Data that you can enter.
Data that you can enter. All the objects that presume entry points, right? Typing, selecting the values, and so far and so on. Data, fields. All right, excellent. Data driving, that's what we just said, right? And the rich logic, we just covered it. What are the principles of the rich logic?
Incorporate as much business logic as you can.
In a single artifact, right? Why would we want to do that? Why not to create a multiple scripts per business rules?
Easy to maintain.
To avoid the maintenance of the multiple artifacts going forward, right, in our process. Excellent. What statement you use usually for implementing rich logic? If-else statement, right? Excellent. Very good. So that's pretty much it.